Callisto Protocol is not quite Dead Space 4, and I'm sorry to break that news to you. I know a lot of fans will have been waiting for this, and a lot of them will probably assume that it would have been Dead Space 4. There are a lot of similarities, don't get me wrong, and I can see that Dead Space has heavily inspired this game a lot. But I like to think that Callisto is in a state of its own, and I'm quite happy to say that it's a good game. Are there faults of it? I mean, yeah, we'll go into that, don't worry. But overall, it's been a very enjoyable experience that we've had with the game. So let's dive into why Callisto Protocol is a must-own game. It's a dark setting, which is what you want from this kind of game anyway, but this is really dark. Like, you can barely see half the time dark. That all adds to the tension of the game. You never know what's going to come around the corner, or drop from the ceiling, or pull you from underneath the floor. And a lot of the time, you've basically just got your melee weapon, so if anything big comes towards you, you're going to be wanting to smack it, and it's just not going to do anything. So you've got to be really tactical with how you perform. So often it's the case of games like this that you just go in with a gun and load of ammo and blow everything up. But rather than like The Last of Us, ammo is very scarce in this game. So you're going to want to be preservative. This kind of forces you in a way to be clever with your moves, and just think about what your attacks are going to be rather than running in and causing havoc. I mean, you can do that if you want, but it's not going to succeed. This game wants you to die a lot, and it's going to test you. I mean, they've got about 30 different animations for your main character's death, and there's a trophy for seeing all of them. So put 2 and 2 together there, and you're going to be dying a lot. Even on the easiest difficulty, this game's a challenge. So if you want a game with a smooth ride, I kind of wouldn't recommend this one. It's going to frustrate you, but that's only because of your own mistakes. It's got that kind of Dark Souls philosophy around it, where if you die, it's because of an error that you made, not because of something that happened in the game. But if that does happen, all you want to do is go back and fix that, because you know what you did wrong. You want to go correct that error, and you want to go whack that enemy in the head. Or it's because you got a button timing wrong. That's probably the most frustrating part of it. I think most games now like this kind of have some incorporation of a button mashing sequence. Look at God of War Ragnarok, look at The Last of Us. Look at games like that, they've all got this kind of button mashing sequence during some form of cutscene, or when opening a door. If you'd asked me about this kind of mechanic a couple of years ago, I would have said it was outdated, almost like something from a previous generation of console. But it's kind of made a comeback in recent years, so I'm going to allow it. Does it change the game? No. Is it annoying? Not really. Is there a lot of it? I mean, yeah, kind of. But it doesn't change the fact that the game is fantastic. During the first couple of hours of the game, you're not really going to encounter a massive variety of enemies, but that doesn't mean the ones that you do encounter won't hit hard. Because trust me, you're going to be tested from the beginning here. The game gives you about 30 seconds to learn how to dodge. Then after that, they're going to be throwing enemy after enemy at you, so there's no real time to practice dodging. Either get it right or get eaten. But you know what, that challenge is fun. Callisto Protocol is a game that wants you to feel like you're in a chaotic environment. I mean, you've crash landed on a planet, you've been put into a prison cell, the prison cell has somehow been invaded by aliens, and they're out there causing havoc, with all the security bots either trying to kill you, or malfunctioning at the same time, meaning more enemies can run around. So that's the scenario we've got here, right? So why would a game make it easy for you in that scenario? Why would you come out of this cell just feeling like Superman, being able to kill everything straight away? You're not a super soldier by any means. You're just an ordinary guy who's been captured. And that's what the game wants to make you feel. You need to feel like an ordinary guy. So the fact that it's difficult to survive, and that you're not just going to barrel down enemies easily, really adds to the aesthetic of the game. And I love that. I love the feeling of helplessness in this game. That's what you want. You want this game to feel like an immersive experience. You want to really feel like you're just the guy that's been caught up in all of this. If you want a game where you can just smash up enemies willy-nilly, go play like Alien or something. This is an immersive survival horror experience. And honestly, they've completely nailed it. There's a real sense of struggle throughout the game, and as far as we've seen, there's not necessarily a map to follow as well. You're going to be crawling through very tight spaces, having to hide to avoid security bots that are going to pummel you, and just really take your time over the game. There's no sense of rushing through it. There's no need to rush through it as well. You want to explore these environments. They're so well made and they're so eerie and horror-like. Every corner you turn, there's just a sense of foreboding. You don't know what's going to be around there. Will it be a clear hallway, or it be full of enemies? You just don't know. I really had to praise the artwork direction they've gone with this as well. The scenery and the environments that they created are so horror-like. It's a massive praise to the lighting dynamics as well. Quite often rooms will only be lit by a flashing light, so you really struggle to see where your enemies are. Or you'll enter a room and it'll be full of smoke or steam, so it's near enough complete guesswork where your enemies are going to come from. There are some issues with the game, don't get me wrong. In the preview version we've got, there were a lot of problems surrounding the frame rate. At points, it would drop to around 15 frames per second, which, while it didn't alter the gameplay much, the actual running and feel of the game felt so slow and sluggish. Now, they promised that they're going to fix this, and I'm fairly certain they will. but from our experience playing it, we have to comment on it. There are a few elements of the game that felt a bit samey as well. I've noticed it in quite a few games recently. There's a lot of times where you've got to crawl through a gap or shimmy through a small space. It's no secret now that this is a forced load area, and it's designed with a way of loading up the next environment without having to do a cutscene, or one of those windows where the whole environment would load on a black screen. It's a much nicer way of presenting this, but there's a lot of them in this game. It feels like every 5 minutes you're going through one of them. It's very nitpicky, I know. And overall it doesn't really bother me, but I know it's an element that will annoy a lot of people. It feels like the action is getting chopped up a lot, because you're having to load up the next environment. Would I recommend you buy this game? I mean, we got a preview copy, and I can safely say that I'm going to be buying it after playing it. But I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you're truly looking for a survival horror experience, this is the game for you. If you're looking at one that's more focused on action, then maybe give this one a miss. This game is going to test you to your limits, and really make you think about your next move. Some serious things like ammo conservation and battery percentages are going to come into play as well. So if you're looking for an experience where you're just going to run in and gun everything, then this probably isn't the one for you. But honestly, I've had so much fun playing it, and I can't wait to put even more time into it. I'm Ollie from GG Recon, and I'm going to give Callisto Protocol an 8 out of 10. While you're here, why not check out some of the guides that we've done on the game? We'll link them at the end of the video. And for more things Callisto, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to GG Recon Gaming.